Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the best damn show on video. After a little time away, Dan and I are excited to be back. Mr. Dan Ray, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Mark. How are you?
I am doing extremely well. As said, Mark Steele. Dan and I I enjoyed a little bit of vacation with my family and then Memorial Week and so on and so forth. So it's been a few weeks since we have been on. What new and exciting things have you been up to, Dan?
I have been teaching Microsoft Teams and Server 2019 lately.
Wow.
I'm live today with a YouTube tutorial or preparation for exams. I've been doing some live video as well in between there. How about you?
Very cool. I did a guest speaking spot for a sales association, and I have another one coming up later this month. I've been learning some new things, some new trickery when it comes to video and putting out some video, as well as I have another interview show that I do called the Sales Growth Showcase. And I have been where I get to talk to amazing sales leaders from around the world. And I have recorded several episodes of that and released them. So those are some of the things that I've been up to.
Awesome.
I missed you, man. I missed you. It's good to be back.
It is.
Looks like we have some friendly faces joining us. Everyone out there, please let us know exactly where you are from. We're actually multicasting to several different platforms right now. Of course, we're live on LinkedIn. We're also on Facebook and YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. There is nowhere on the internet that you could go right now and not see our smiling faces. So, Mr. Mark Litwin is in the house. Thank you, Mark, for being out there. It is great.
Famous for being our first guest, isn't he?
Yes. Yes. Something that I'm sure he has added to his illustrious bio by now, that he was the very first guest on the Best Damn Show on Video. So you and I, in the time away, you and I have talked about different ways that we can add value to the show, and really how we want to, most importantly, we want to bring value to our to those that are watching the program. Number one is by getting the logo up there. Of course, you got to get so the various ways in which we can share value, and what being the best damn show, Dan and Mark, show on video. We really want to help you use video to grow your business, to connect to your those that you serve, for you to be able to share your message, grow your network, and ultimately, hopefully, grow your business. And so we want to, number one, we want to highlight those folks that are out there successfully using video today, and also be able to answer any questions you may have about how you could better utilize video to grow your business. So if you have questions, please let us know. We want to make sure that we're answering questions along the way. Did I miss anything, Dan?
I think that's it. We're sharing tips. We're going to have guests in the future. And we may even have some voting or some interactivity that we add to this. We talked about all that last week.
Some interactivity. Wouldn't that be amazing? So let's start off. We're going to start off each episode by sharing some things that we learned about maybe how we're using video to better grow our business or connect with those we serve. And then we want to highlight either video that you are creating, or highlight some folks that you share with us that you think are doing a great job with video content creation. And so that's really how the structure is going to go, is that we kind of give you a tip from each of us, then we do some video highlighting from each of us, and then we will answer questions before we wrap up the program. Dan, I think you are the first one to go to with sharing your video tip of the week.
Yes.
There should be a great big stinger there, a flash across the screen. So take it away, my friend.
Yes. So I have also been experimenting with OBS, but I am experiencing, Mark, what you experienced a few weeks ago with a beta version of OBS. I am on a beta version of Windows 10. And OBS occasionally stays open and occasionally shuts down, which means my video goes away. So I am just raw video, a painted wall behind me, but I am using a ring light as well. And what I noticed about the ring light is, depending on its placement, I may get shadows, I may get a lot of reflection in my glasses, but if I place it just right, I can still get the benefit of brighter video and maybe less of the shadows and the reflection in my glasses from the ring light, but it allows me still to be a little brighter in the frame of the video. And then when I am using OBS, as you have shown me, I can do overlays with PowerPoints, or I can put the whiteboard in front of me. There's a lot of creative things I can do once I have OBS and a reboot and some stability back.
A reboot always helps. Usually never go wrong with a nice reboot before trying to do any demo on your computer. So, that's great. I love ring lights. They're really handy, usually fairly affordable. So you can, I have one in my studio. I'm not using a ring light. I actually am using a ring light, but I'm using it to light my green screen behind me. I'm using a little different lighting in front of me. But at my desktop, upstairs, when I take video calls, I just use a little, almost a portable ring light that just attaches to my monitor. So they come in all shapes and sizes. And I thank you for sharing the tip around how to try to minimize the reflection in the glasses, because that's really handy as well.
Here's another way to fix it.
Yes.
Then I'm wondering what's in front of me.
Depending on how much space you have, or how much of an extension the ring light has, I have found that if you actually, instead of having it at eye level or eye height, even though it's off to your, you showed us it's off to 45 degrees from you. But try, those of you out there that have one with an extension pole, try raising it up above your head and see if you can kind of point it down at you a little bit. That's what I ended up using in my studio here. Is I even have low drop ceiling, so I have tiles that I had to move out of the way so that I could stick my lights higher up literally into the rafters. Wow. So that they are shining down in such a way to try to minimize the reflection off my glasses, because I was getting the same sort of thing. So adding a little height to those lights, if you can, it would be helpful as well.
Good tip.
Yeah. Let's see. So great. Thank you tell us a little bit about the ring light that you have. Is there, where did you find, how'd you come about those lights?
I was at TJ Maxx and we were looking at different things, and I found it was a whole ring light kit. So it is on a extension pole, can get to about maybe 5 feet tall, and came with like maybe a phone mount in the middle, which I'm not using because I don't use a phone or a video, what do you call it, for scripting. I don't put any of that in front of me. It's just a big monitor in front of me. But I've had it for about 6 months now. Well,
you're looking mighty fine, I must say, if I may say so. You're doing a nice job with the lights.
There you go.
All right. So for my tip of the week, I've shared several times, of course, and you said it as well. I use OBS, Open Broadcast Software, free software. You can get it from obsproject.com. obsproject.com. And it just helps you kind of create scenes. And I first talked about this. I mean, we've talked about it a few times, but I demonstrated about a month or so ago. And I thought for my tip, I was just going to share a little bit about how I use OBS in order. In my role, it makes sense as a speaker. I'm able to create different looks, have different elements add to my view or not view that I want people to see when I'm speaking to them on Zoom or Microsoft Teams is what I use an awful lot of, or just these live streams. But even though I'm a speaker and I'm doing this all the time, it also is a great tool for somebody in sales or an entrepreneur that may be meeting with their clients now virtually. It's a great way to be able to create different looks and be able to quickly come back to them, even though you may have one look that you present to a client that has your logo, or another look that you use for a live stream show that you have, something to that effect. That's what OBS can do well for you. So what I am going to do, and Dan, I'll take over just so we can go full screen here. See if I can get rid of that and do a little of that. So what we're looking at here is OBS, and this is the interface. Not very sexy when you first get into it, but what we're seeing, this large black area up here, that's called the canvas. That's essentially where you're going to put together the various elements that you will either show or not show, that you'll add into a particular scene. And one of those being your camera. You can add video elements, you could just do music elements, pictures, whatever it may be. Oh, as we zoom in a little bit, let me try to zoom in here. Over here on this side, you'll see that down across the bottom, the layout, the interface is broken down into scenes that I can create. And inside any particular scene will be various sources. What are the different elements that I want to add? Then you'll see some other things that I'm not going to get into right now, but really the audio mixer, the audio monitor, and then as we go farther and farther over, there's how I'm going to transition if I have more than one scene, how I'm going to transition. And then these final controls here is, do I want to do streaming out to YouTube or Facebook, whatever it may be, or just use it, what I use it for most prevalently is as a virtual camera. So I just pipe in the output from OBS into Microsoft Teams or Zoom or whatever it may be. And that's how I'm doing most of my programs nowadays. So what we'll do is I have a blank scene, so just called the generic name of scene, but I could call this whatever I want. I could call this client call or keynote presentation or sales call, whatever it may be. And now that I have a scene created, let me add this in here so you can not just talking to a blank void there. Now that I have a scene created, what we want to do is add various sources. And if I click on the plus icon here, you'll see that I have all sorts of different sources that I can choose from, including my camera. Whether it's the built-in laptop camera, whether it's an external webcam, whether it's a fancier digital camera that I am using a capture card so that I can get a high-end camera look into it, you name it, I can, if it creates or captures video, I can pull that into OBS. All I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and I'll call this my webcam. And sorry, I'm working with a couple different mice here because I'm using two different devices and I keep grabbing the wrong mouse. Oh, now you'll see that it's prompting me for the built-in, and you're going to see a little the wizardry behind the scenes here. But this is prompting me for the built-in camera. I have a drop down. If I had other cameras available, including the OBS camera, I could choose from that one. I could update the video settings if I wanted to change the video settings for some reason, but I'm going to go ahead and just say OK to that. And now I want that to fill my screen, so I'm quickly going to stretch. Yep. So now now I've added in the camera, and I could start to add in additional elements like a picture that I'm going to use for my logo. I'll drop in the logo there real quick, or an additional camera if I happen to have a second camera, or if I wanted to add in a video, I could add another source in and say I want to pull in a media source, and I'll call that video. And now I'm just going to browse to where I may have some video files. I think I have in my downloads. I can choose whether I want the video to loop or not, and go ahead and say OK. And now when that video plays, Let's see what happened there. Well, as with all things demo, I'm not exactly sure why the video isn't on top there. Let's see. So if I block that, the video is there and it's playing. I'm just not sure. Maybe because it's not. Let's see. Let's try this. There it is. There's the video. I just didn't have it full screen, so that was the problem there. So there's the beautiful Cassidy Steele. So now I can decide, and if I wanted for some reason, so I could say, okay, when I first start off talking, I don't want the video there. I want to be able to talk to my client. But then when I'm ready, instead of me having to share my screens and then share my PowerPoint, which maybe has an embedded video in it, now with a single click, I could just kick off the video that I want to play. And again, you can add images, you can add second devices, and that's exactly what I'm doing in OBS right now in this live stream. I'm actually pulling this OBS in from a second device. So it can actually get quite powerful, quite flexible. And the beauty of all of this is that you preset it up beforehand, and it's all saved, and it's just a click of a button here and there in order to be able to pull those elements up on command. And it can actually make a very different looking sales call or keynote presentation. So if you're a speaker, a salesperson, entrepreneur, leader that's looking to do something more interesting with your video, then I encourage you to look into OBS. And I'm sure that I'll be sharing more tips on it as we go along.
You have certainly become a master of it.
Not for a minute there, I wasn't.
But the troubleshooting, I mean, being able to do troubleshooting on the fly like that is a skill as well.
Yeah.
I had a technical issue with the presentation I was doing this morning, live streamed to multiple platforms, and I just tried to deal with the technical issues without really acknowledging or calling out them. And I think it went better than, getting flustered or that type of thing.
Yeah, that's always a great and important thing because so much of what we're doing is virtual. And if we're exploring live streams and things like that, which you and I really encourage people to do to boost their business, then that's a great opportunity to just be able to handle those things, be able to experience those things, and don't let them fluster you, because no matter how much you present or how much you prepare, whether it's going to be in person or it's going to be a live stream or it's going to be pre-recorded, we know things will go wrong. And so just being able to prepare yourself, and then mentally when it happens, you're just like, okay, what do I need to do? Don't panic. Try again, or throw it to somebody else while you do something in the background. It's always that's a fun way to deal with the problem as well. Is here, Dan, you talk.
Can you take 5?
So fantastic. As far as Nicole C, hey, Nicole, thanks for watching, Nicole. Thanks for the shout out. So happy to see you. Thanks for joining. You have lots going on in your life, so I'm so happy to see you here. Sending lots of good thoughts your way. All right, Dan, now as far as we showed our tips of the week, you talked about how we can better use lighting and ring lights to look as handsome as you do. I talked a little bit about OBS. Well, now let's we want to highlight some great things that some content creators are doing on video. And I think you're going to start with that, right?
Yeah. So we were discussing maybe highlighting a video and a video creator each week. And I came up with a plethora of choices from people that have inspired me just this week. And the one that I decided to showcase here is Kat Norton. And Kat has an Instagram, a TikTok, and just posts these great little videos about Excel. And the thing I love about them is that it's a different way of learning. She does cute little dances, there's music to them, and then the tip is right above her. So whether you are watching and listening and learning, it's all in one place. And what I noticed this week was Miss Excel posted some big news about both her business anniversary and the fact that she is now a Microsoft Most Valuable Professional, which is a distinction or an award that Microsoft gives to people in the community that are giving back and are passionate about Microsoft technology. So this week is Kat Norton, and her video site is Miss-Excel on Instagram. You can also find her on TikTok, and I found her and put out a connection request on LinkedIn. So that is the video creator that has inspired me this week. Mark?
So, Dan, I think that's fantastic. And I may actually steal that. Get it? Steal. That's great. No, when you shared that with me, I think it's fantastic. So congratulations, Kat. Keep it up. When you think Excel, you don't necessarily think that's going to be a great opportunity to show off my creativity.
Yes.
And my love of music and dance. So kudos to her, not only for becoming a Microsoft, a Microsoft valuable professional, but also for using her creativity to help us all learn to use Excel better.
That stuck with me quite a bit. And I saw that, I think it was a LinkedIn post a while ago, but then when I looked up kind of the people that have stuck with me, that have stuck in the back of my head as, hey, I wonder what their latest videos are, I was pleased to learn about a 1-year anniversary and this award that was probably at the beginning of June.
Very cool. Well, and folks watching, we would love your suggestions on what video content you have seen that really strikes you as something different, something interesting, something that you would love to see featured on the show, so that we can share and discuss it, and hopefully share some ways in which other folks can use video to be more effective communicators. With that, my video content creator of the week that I wanted to highlight is, let me pull this up, somebody that I first connected with on LinkedIn quite some time ago, at least probably 3 years ago at this point, 2.5, 3 years ago. And always impressed me. She's been a really consistent content creator, but I've been really impressed with just seeing some of her video content lately. And for me, that is Amy Blashka. Amy is fantastic. She is a social media ghostwriter, and as you see in her profile, yep, that's a thing. Where she actually helps you create content. She helps you write content. She is continuously being featured in Forbes. I know that the list of publications she's been featured in is very long, but I'm constantly seeing new Forbes articles from her. And she is helping you craft stories to better communicate. But what I wanted to highlight specifically is some of the video content that she is doing. So if we're scrolling down the content that she has created, you'll see that she does lots of different things. She does this really interesting thing. This is a video. It's actually just a 5-second loop where she's really calling your attention to the content, but just something that really catches your eye. So these colors are always on brand for her. Seeing this in my feed always grabs my attention. So she has something in there that grabs your attention and pulls you in. And she's just using this with a call to action to subscribe and get notified when video content comes, or new content that she's writing comes out. And so that's interesting to me. But what I also like what she's doing is she's mastered these sort of 1-minute videos.
Leaders cite listening as an essential soft skill because it demonstrates respect, it builds trust, and it helps others feel valued. It also allows leaders to learn about new opportunities and detect problems while they're still small. Here are 3 ways that you can build your listening skill.
So I'll pause there. And what I really like about this, it's very simple, very easy to do. And you'll see that she's just obviously in a home office type of space. She's got a simple background, good lighting, good sound, the 2 very important things. She's probably just using, I don't know for sure, but she's probably just using her phone to do the recording there. But some things that I really appreciate about it, it's 1 minute long, and she's actually giving you tangible things that you can do. I stopped the video, but she's going to go through 3 very specific things that you can do to build your soft skills when connecting with your customer. And she does all of this in a minute. And she has really nice structure to it. Of course, she's a story writer, so she really understands structure. But she'll go through 3 tangible elements, and it's just there's nothing flashy about it. I love that she's also using subtitles, but there's points of her subtitles where she'll use all caps to really call attention to a particular word or something like that. So it's not just generic subtitling. She's using subtitling very effectively, and it's just quick and easy to consume. You'll see that she always starts off the same way, so she's really consistent in her video content. Here's another 1 minute video, and if I keep scrolling, we'll see more and more of these. So again, she's really got this down pat. So she's sharing these tips with you, and in a way that you can easily consume them. There's not a lot of special things going on, but I really appreciate the structure involved and the fact that she's put a lot of thought behind actually giving you tangible things that you can use to be more effective. So that is my content creator of the week, is Miss Amy Blashka. So Amy, nice job. Kudos to you.
Excellent.
Come back. I'm back. Oh, So again, we would love to hear from you, whether share your video with us. If number one, if you're open to feedback and want some eyes on it and just some thoughts as to what you could do to perhaps enhance it, or you just want to share it and let us highlight it on the show, we would love to do that. Or again, if you know a creator that's doing some really interesting things and think that we should highlight them on the show, share that with us as well. And speaking of content creators that we want to highlight on the show, Dan, what are we doing next week?
We have our second guest on the show next week. So I am excited to have another guest join us. We'll have 3 of these little boxes on the Best Damn Show on video next week.
Very cool. Oh, yes. Did you say you didn't say her name? I was multitasking.
Are we keeping that a secret, or do we want to do a shout out?
Oh, you decide. Yeah, I think we can share the name.
You know what? That's probably a good idea, and we can tag her in some posts. And she is another Microsoft Most Valuable Professional that I met in all places on Twitter. And she asked a question over a year ago that grabbed my attention. And then she asked a follow-up almost a year later because she really hadn't found an answer to the question. And Noelle Silver is our second guest on the Best Damn Show on video next Thursday.
Ooh, very cool. I'm looking forward to the conversation with Noelle.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
All right, Dan, before we wrap up, here's where we would take any questions. If folks have any questions, feel free to share them. If you're watching this after the fact on any of the intrawebs platforms, then feel free to post a question and we will respond to that next week. We'd love to very specifically be answering your questions and helping you be more effective on video. But I'm not seeing a question come in just yet. So Dan, my question to you, so you're doing live streams, you're doing tech tips, and that you're doing live. What sort of preparation do you have in order to be able to go live? I'm sure folks may or may not have ever done a live stream before. There may be some intimidation to it, which is silly. We're all friends here. What could go wrong? But hypothetically, if somebody is intimidated by it, what do you do to prepare, or what can you share that might help us feel more confident?
Yeah, so one thing that I have found is just getting comfortable with your technology and your setup. And if you're already comfortable speaking in front of an audience, speaking in front of your webcam can be a little intimidating. So practicing is one of the things that I have found helpful. PowerPoint now has a presenter coach that not only watches for things like your pace, the words you use, but in the web version, another MVP showed me a ability for PowerPoint in the web to use your webcam to give you feedback on your gestures and how often you're smiling. It's a great way to practice before you get into that situation, maybe for the first time on video, but you're staring at your webcam.
That's great. Thank you, Dan. I think that's fantastic. So getting comfortable with the technology, so much of the nerves may have to do with the fact that we've never used this live streaming, the tools before, whether it's in LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever it may be. And so, spending some time getting comfortable with that. The only thing I would layer on top of that is you could, and you may have mentioned this, is you could do some practice live streams just unlisted, where most of the platforms will let you do a live stream that nobody knows about. And so I actually, the first time I did Facebook Live and a YouTube Live, it was just set as private, and so nobody saw it, and it just gave me a chance to get comfortable talking to a camera and imagining that there was an audience. There was nothing, I didn't imagine an audience as big as we have on this program now. But at the time, I imagined there were a few people out there, and now I've come to accept the thousands that we are dealing with on a nightly basis. But so doing a live stream for one is a wonderful way to practice.
Yes.
Let's see. I think that's I'm not seeing any additional questions come in, but I hope that as folks are watching the stream after the fact, you have something. You have a follow up to what you were saying. Yeah.
This is the Rehearse with Coach feature. So it lets you flip on, start your presentation, and practice the words that you're using, the pace that you're using, and whether your language is inclusive. Maybe I refer to councilmen within my city or firemen, and it's listening for whether your words are inclusive. It's listening for crutch words. And gives you that type of feedback. Once you stop presenting, it's giving you the vocal variety, the pace, and the feedback right there within Presenter Coach.
Very cool. Yeah, they've really come a long way with that capability. And
yes.
For those of us that help speakers be more effective speakers, they're working hard to put us out of work. But it's actually a very cool tool. It is nice to have a capability where you can just, again, do a private presentation for one, but yet get some coaching from that and understand some areas that you may want to focus on.
It's got a long way to go to replace you, Mark.
Aw, it's so sweet. I appreciate that. Just the dancing that I'm now going to add to my coaching is.
I think that should be our highlight from tonight's episode.
Yes, we'll cut that. Well, my friend, it is good to be back on the videos with you. And yeah. I missed you while we were away. I missed the audience. Thank you all so much for joining us. And again, if you have some questions that you are looking to help you be more effective on video, or if you know of somebody that is really using video well, make sure that you share those with us, because we would love to answer your questions or highlight your content creators.
Absolutely. And we'll see you this time next week.
Yes, yes, we will. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Have a safe and healthy week, and we'll see you next week on the best DaM show on video. Take care.